Alright. Hello, everybody. It is me, JRH74 here, and welcome back to another video. And today I'm with Blue Jay Davy in a video that you guys have been waiting for almost 6 months now. Anything you want to say, Davy?
Yeah, yeah, man. Hey, how's it going? I'm Blue Jay Davy, and oh yes, hello.
So what do you think this video is going to be about today, Davy?
I think it's going to be about us answering some questions that people have asked on your videos.
Now, guys, we have not actually addressed you about Lost Tides ever since it ended. We have not made any updates. We have not made any, farewells. We were going to do an after party, but a couple cast members kind of didn't return for that party. But, we're still working that stuff out, but we haven't formally addressed you in a video about Lost Tides since it ended, and it ended almost 6 months ago, and you're probably wondering, why hasn't there been a video? So, you might also be wondering, JRH, you reply to every single one of your subscribers on every single one of your videos, why did you 99.999% not reply to anybody on Lost Tides Part 15? That was because I wanted to create this video, which is my first ever Q&A video, which is going to be called the Lost Tides Q&A with Blue Jay Davy. So, Davy, before we get started, is there anything you want to say, following up the end of Lost Tides?
Well, not really. I don't have much to say about it. It was a fun series. I mean,
oh yeah, it was
just fun.
It was good, and going over some of the comments you guys did, I can't believe how much Lost Tides actually impacted you. You guys said that this was like my best series, and that it hit you like a ton of bricks, emotional wise, and you said that it was just amazing, and you don't know how great that makes me feel. Even Davy said that he got emotional, right, Davy?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it came out while editing it. I didn't realize that it was going to be that that emotional. It was rough. I didn't know it was going to be that bad, but I've racked up the 11 most popular and requested questions you guys wanted. I didn't collect all of them, but I got the 11 most popular. There's still a ton of other questions, but these were the most requested, and we're going to start with that now. Anything you want to say before we start, Davey? Because most of these are, well, not most, but we're both going to be answering these together, considering we both starred in this show, and we both pretty much kind of created it. So is there anything you want to say before we get started, Davey?
I like cheesecake.
Me too. Also, one more thing before I start, guys. Thank you so much for your support on Lost Tides. It was great. The final episode was just phenomenal. The day after that, I was so, it was the first day of school right after that. The first day after Lost Tides ended, I was so kind of, down because, it was, my favorite kind of series. I worked so hard on it. I loved it, and I really wanted to get it done before school, and I ended up doing that, and it was just, oh my god, it was great to finish it. And it was really the day after, it was really kind of saddening because I realized that it was done. But here we go, guys, answering questions. We're gonna start now with number 1. JRH, is there going to be another series, or is this the last one? Alright, so, David, do you want to help me answer this one? This has been being asked a lot in the past 6 months, if there's going to be another series, like Lost Tides, and Davy, J-Block, and I, and a couple other people have actually gotten to some Skype calls and started planning some stuff. We have been planning things, but unlike the past 2 movies, we are not going to announce them before, we're not going to announce them beforehand, and we're not going to announce them afterhand either, but we're just going to get a big head start on the movie, so that when it is nearing its completion, recording and editing wise, we can announce it, and then you guys won't have to wait. You guys won't have to wait in between episodes. We can just release episodes once every weekend no hassle for us, no hassle for you, and it'll be great. We have had a couple setbacks with that movie right at the moment. We're not going to be releasing any information on it, but David, do you have anything to say about that?
I mean, there's towards the question. The question is, will there be another series like Lost Tides? I kind of want to say that, in a sense, yes, but not plot-wise. It'll really be completely different plot-wise, but
yeah, like I don't know, like Lost Tides was it was a great show. I loved it like so much. It was great. However, it was difficult to continue having to reference actual history. Like, we wanted to make it as historically accurate as possible. Obviously, it kind of wasn't. It's like, I got many comments saying, oh yeah, the way you talked in Lost Tides is completely inaccurate to the way they would talk in the time. That probably would be extremely difficult if we did, but it was when it comes to that historically accurate past historical fiction like Lost Tides was, I don't know, we may do that again, but it was difficult. We might do that again. But to answer your question, I think it is about, yes, we are planning another Minecraft movie, but we don't know when it's going to be released. I've also actually been thinking of planning another Minecraft movie, but it's not in parts. It's just one big long movie. I've actually been planning one of those, but that's probably not for a little bit either. It's not in parts. It's just one big, long, expansive, like 1.5 hour actual Minecraft movie. No part 2, no part 3, because Hunt for Herobrine part 1 and 2 were like almost 2 hours each, and that was really, really weird. So yeah, that's to answer your question. Are we ready for number 2, Davey?
yes.
All right,
Yes,
let's go to number 2. What happened to Joe's family? So what did happen to Joe's family? This is a very largely asked question. I got a lot of PMs of this question. What happened to Joe's family? And just to make it fun, Davey, do you want to guess what happened to Joe's family?
They died.
No, that is not. I don't know about that, but so if you watch the ending of part 15, it says that Joe's family left home thinking that Joe died when on the Titanic trip. You in the show, you never actually see Joe's family, but you do hear Joe constantly mention, my family doesn't like my family. I didn't connect with my family. Like, Joe did have a backstory. I actually did write a backstory for Joe. I should probably, like, I'll put that in the description.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I think we should kind of explain some things.
Yeah, Joe's backstory, I actually do have a backstory. I was going to say it in part 10 when Joe and Frank were telling each other's life stories, but I felt like it was too long. But he does have a backstory, and I will leave that in the description below. If you want to check it out, you can. I'll leave an annotation just so that you can remember. But yeah, he does have a backstory. His family left thinking that he died on the Titanic trip, and to be honest, I never really thought of something that would happen to his family while they were gone. Like, so they're most likely not dead. So they just moved away, and they moved away. They moved to a different town in Ireland,
Thinking that Joe was dead.
But even though Joe was in the news because he was working on an investigation team to find Lamag, they still didn't go back because, they just, I don't know, they just didn't want to go back. So yeah, that is that. Anything you want to add, Davey?
No. Yeah, I think you pretty much summed it up.
Yeah, so guys, remember, check the description if you want to know Joe's backstory. It's actually written down. I can just copy and paste. Alright guys, question number 3. What will your next Minecraft movie be about? Will there be another?
That's classified information.
Did EJ die?
Yes.
to answer your question, not seriously, actually, EJ Smith did die. It is actually in episode 10. It shows the windows bursting and water coming in. It's not actually shown that he dies, but there's a very faint shot of the door of the room he is trapped in, and he is literally up against the door in the water doing this. So, I mean, I guess that can symbolize that he is actually kind of in distress. But actually, if you look up E.J. Smith, the actual captain of the actual Titanic, for those that don't know, yes, E.J. Smith was a real person. So was Murdoch, Ismay, and Andrews. But for those that don't know, E.J. Smith did die on the Titanic. And yes, in the show, he did die. You're supposed to kind of imagine it yourself that he died in the room and kind of sunk with the ship. So yes, to answer your question, E.J. Smith did pass away in that episode. So, what happened to the rabbits? Now, I haven't really thought of an answer for what happens to the two rabbits, which is Oliver and Alice! Oliver and Alice. I never made like an actual story to what happens. So, after Joe and Frank went to Maple Avenue to go see if Lamag was there, which he wasn't, when they went back to go organize everything for the search for Mr. Lamag, they found him. They lived with them for the longest time, and then after Frank passed away in 1915, they continued to be Joe's pets, but after a while, as Joe dealt with kind of sadness and a very, very serious search to find Mr. Lamag, he decided to give them up for adoption at a pet store in London. So, that is what happened to the two rabbits. Anything you want to say about that, Davy?
I miss Alice.
I miss Alice too. Alright, that is what happened to the two rabbits. What is next for Jared724 and Blue Jay Davy? So what is next for Jared724 and Blue Jay Davy? So what next for me is I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Maybe getting some new Let's Plays in there. After all, I know you guys really, really, really like my Minecraft movies. They're fun to make, but I'm definitely going to work on some more Minecraft movies before I guess 2020. No, not 2020. Why did I say 2020? I meant before like 2018. I'm gonna work on. Hopefully, I can get in 2 new movies before 2018. Why did I say 2020? But I'm definitely going to make a lot of more cool videos. Hopefully, I'll be able to do it on a more regular basis. But I'm sorry I don't do that much. But I'm definitely gonna do more games. If you guys want to see any specific games, leave them in the comments. I can do Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC, or Wii U. I hope to get a PlayStation. To be honest, I kind of do want a PlayStation. More than an Xbox, but it's the way the wind blows. Anyway, Davey, what is next for your channel and your community? I mean, also, by the way, I forgot, I missed one huge thing. I'm still gonna do videos with Davey and all my friends, and we're gonna remain one big, fat community. Isn't that right, Dave?
Yeah.
So what's next for your channel?
Minecraft movies, Let's Plays, if I can actually maintain a healthy schedule, which I am currently not doing because stuff's happening. But aside from that, I'll just be making videos with my friends and having fun and making movies and all that.
Okay, so yeah, guys, that is what is next for that's what's next for Jared724 and Blue Jay Davy on YouTube. What about Grace? So, Davey, what do you think what is next for Grace? What do you think happened to Grace?
Well, I think that since we gave her money and everything, she probably funded a company and...
Oh, yeah, good guess. So, guys, after Joe and Frank left for Ireland to go search for Isaac, which is Lamagachi's first name for those who didn't know, after the money we provided for her, she actually ended up having a pretty decent life, but Joe and Frank did not keep in touch with Grace, like, at all. This is actually, I actually did think of this, but, she had a good life. She gave the diamond to Ismay. As history goes, Ismay did die in the 30s later on. He was a real person, as mentioned earlier on in the video. And just letting you know that, yeah, that did happen. Grace didn't really keep up, but she did hear that Frank died, but this was all not footage filmed. That she found out that Frank died, that she figured out that Mr. Lamagachi's finding was no use, but yeah, she was really never mentioned again after Joe and Frank left for Ireland, but she was a pretty good character. But yeah, she basically funded a company by herself, got pretty wealthy after Joe and Frank gave her that money, and that is basically how stuff went. What do you think of that, Davy?
I think it's pretty nice. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Alright, we're gonna keep going, guys. Let's keep going. Was Mr. Lamagachi's body ever found? So, Davy, do you want to answer that one? Was Mr. Lamagachi's body ever found?
I would say probably not, considering that, I mean, if Joe could have never found him alive and he was getting so old, and that clan keeping him hostage they'd probably be smart enough as criminals to hide the body somewhere where
guys,
no one would find it.
Keep in mind that after Frank died, Joe looked for Mr. Lamagachi 18 more years. Like, that is, I don't remember if it was exactly 18, but that is a long time. Like, he was in his mid-60s, which means, let's assume he was age 65. 65 plus 18 is 83. So, let's think about that. He would have been 83 when the search ended. And Davey, do you know when people would die back in like 1915 or in the mid 1920s? What would that be, like 60s?
Late 60s, early mid 70s.
Yeah, 60s, 70s, which means that if he were to be hiding or in survival or just laying low, it's just not possible for a man like that, especially with the stress he had, to be alive at the age of 83 after 18 years of search for him. So it is said, it's not said, but it is technically virtually a fact that Mr. Lamagachi did die in the end of Lost Tides, but it's just not said. It's just not kind of formally, publicly announced that he is dead, but you kind of have to use your imagination to say, well, you know, it's just not scientifically possible for him to still be alive, especially with that age that he would have been at. He was 65 plus 18 is 83, and 80s are quite old for that time period. So, Mr. Lamagachi's body was never found. He was just missing for the rest of his natural life. Does that sound good, Davey?
Yep.
Okay, let's keep going. What happens to Joe? So, Joe actually lives on a full life, has children, and just he gets a new wife, has children, and this also isn't announced, but this all happens because Joe was young during the show. He was almost the same age as Frank. How old would you say Frank was, Davey?
He was 45.
He was exactly 45? Oh, no,
Yeah.
sorry. What am I saying? Joe actually, according to, I believe, his backstory was in his 30s. I can't remember. You can check in the description. But, he did remarry. This isn't in his backstory, by the way, because it's a backstory. But, he did remarry, had children, and actually the alternate... the alternate ending of Lost Tides, because we know that Frank had a family. You see that at the end of Lost Tides, but the alternate ending that was actually cut from the show, it was deleted. The very ending of the show was supposed to be a shot of Joe's great-grandson and Frank's great-grandson both actually in a submarine together, looking at the Titanic, coincidentally working together for the same reason that their great-grandfather worked for that great-grandfather was that survived the Titanic. Little did they know they were actually their great-grandparents were actually greatest friends that survived on an island, but we thought that would be a little too, generic, right, Davey?
Yeah.
And so we just, cut it and left it the way it was, but that is not canon to the story. It's just, they did not work to look at the Titanic, and either that is not canon. It was just an ending that we decided not to put in. But, yeah, that is what happens to Joe. He lives a full life, has children, and, after the search ends, he just basically carries out a life, doing interviews about his experience on the Titanic, and about his friend, Frank, and all that stuff, and eventually, he dies, I believe, in his 60s. I can't do the math right off the top of my head. So that is what happens to Joe. Why did Frank have to die? So this is the most frequently asked question. It is not the final one, but this is the most frequently asked question. So Davy, this one is definitely aimed to you. Why did Frank have to die?
Okay. Why did Frank have to die?
Because I remember recording, it was your decision, and you should explain it.
Plot-wise, I wanted to make him die for a dramatic ending, but in reality, the reason Frank died, if you were considering the story to be real life, he was in the Battle of Wounded Knee. Keep in mind that is a real battle that happened in South Dakota, I believe. And that was like a really huge massacre of Indians by the American Army, which was a very bad thing that happened, in my opinion. But the reason Frank killed himself is because, I mean, imagine going through all the things that Frank went through, like literally murdering just loads of people because your general told you to, and then that causes a lot of stress and post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a really serious thing these days. And that, on top of all that, he figures out that his family might be dead, and they abandoned him after he got home from the army. And then he tried to cover all of that stress up with a new business, which was delivering milk, and that's how he met Joe and Mr. Lamag. And then all of that over the years, all that pain and drama, and then on top of all that, the Titanic came along and all those people died, and that can cause someone to really be destroyed on the inside and have a lot of problems.
Yeah, and that is quite a valid reason, but I hope that answers your question. That is why Frank had to die. I mean, going through the Titanic, which seeing a lot of people die, and almost killing yourself through all that water, swimming just barely to a lifeboat, watching people die, surviving on an island for weeks and weeks alone in the middle of the ocean, that's actually pretty traumatizing. Like, if I was on an island in the middle of nowhere, I don't think I would do what Joe and Frank did. I would just end it right there. Like, I don't know what I would do. But all that stuff, all that stress just builds up, and Frank gave in, and that is why Frank had to die. Yeah. Lost Tides 2? Alright, this is the second most frequently asked question. Will there be a Lost Tides 2? Yeah, the answer, guys, is no. There will not be a Lost Tides 2.
There would be if there was a second Titanic.
No. Frank died.
Yeah.
Mr. Lamagachi's gone. There's no kind of way a story like that can be redone any way possible. Like, the story ended, and it ended. Like, there's nothing, like, there can't be another Mr. Lamagachi, and then another Frank, and then Joe's like, oh, cool, and they go on the Britannic, and then the Britannic sinks, and then they survive on an island, and Joe's like, I'm done. Like, there can't, like, the story ended perfectly, and we have finished up the lore so much that, like, everybody just everything ends perfectly. A lot of people said, oh, there should be a Lost Tides mini, there should be a Lost Tides prequel. And I was thinking about prequels. That would be cool, but I would feel like it would be way too boring. Like, there's not much drama. But
in Frank's case, it'd be way too brutal, and
to be honest, Davy and I actually considered doing a Frank prequel, a very short for Frank's prequel. But I don't know how that would really work out. It would be incredibly. It would be if we wanted to die it down, it wouldn't feel realistic, and it would be a lot more, mature than we would have to. Joe's backstory isn't it isn't the most interesting, but you never know. We might do another thing on Lost Tides. Just I don't think there's going to be a sequel to the movie. Like, there's like a 20% chance I could think about a prequel, but I don't really know. If you guys are really into that, leave it in the comments. We might think about it, but Other than that, no, the movie has officially kind of finished. I've only gotten like 3 comments asking for Lost Tides 2, actually, but that is it. What do you think of a sequel or a prequel or Frank's backstory in a short series, Davey?
A prequel is more likely to be made than a sequel, but that doesn't guarantee that anything will be made. Because a sequel would be a lot harder to make, considering we'd have to like copy everything that happened in the first one onto the second one. But a prequel, we could explain some backstories, but that probably won't happen.
What about a separate movie for Frank's backstory?
That would kind of be considered a prequel.
I know, but like just for his backstory, like
Okay.
just his.
Yeah, just.
I mean, I have.
I personally feel like it'd be a bit too brutal and mature.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
he did a lot of bad things that I would rather not talk about.
yeah, but that is to answer your question. And there will not be a Lost Tides 2. There might be a Lost Tides, like before, but it won't be called like Lost Tides. It'll probably be called like Before the Tides Turn or something.
Before the tides were lost.
I don't know, guys. We're just messing with you. We don't know. We'll definitely think on it, but for now, there will not be a sequel to Lost Tides. I don't think we can. The story has kind of ended. But yeah. So this, guys, has been the Lost Tides Q&A. This was really fun. What do you think, Davey?
I think it was pretty fun. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was actually pretty fun. So if you guys leave more comments, I'll definitely make another Q&A. If you have any other questions about Lost Tides, definitely leave them on the comment sections of this video. Hopefully you guys understand all the answers to the questions. We were messing with a lot of them, but if any of you have problems, you can leave comments. I will try to reply and make sure that you understand what I meant by things. But yeah, guys, this has been the Lost Tides Q&A. I hope you really enjoyed, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, so anything you want to say, Davey? By the way, Davy's link will be in the description. Just saying. Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
So yeah, guys, this is probably gonna be the yeah, it's really good to make another Lost Tides video again. It's been a long time. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
Yes.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Yee.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Excuse you?
Excuse me?
Excuse you?
Excuse me?
Why?
Bye, everybody! Goodbye, everybody. It was fun. Goodbye, guys.
Yeah.